Hey cats, it's your midsole man Eddbud here. Today a 100-mile review on a shoe that I bought with my own cash a little while back. It is the Nike Zoomfly 6. Reached 160 kilometers in this one, and I can say it is a certified absolute banger. Gonna break down the many good things I've got to say about this awesome release from the swoosh. They don't always get it quite right, but it is a bit of a return to form. Lots to talk about, let's get into it. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Please do help me to reach my dream of 1 million subscribers. It's kind of possible, so, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, it's free of charge, don't you know? Also, give this video a thumbs up like. That really does help out to get it to more runners. Also, drop us a comment as well to help with the YouTube algorithm. Danke schön. I grabbed this one on release for about £155, and I have to say I don't regret a single penny of that. No freebie reviews here. Nike never have sent me shoes. Anytime you see a review on a Nike shoe from me, it's one I've bought myself. At this 160 kilometer point, we'll talk about the upper first. I can't recall too many issues in any of the miles that I've run on this shoe. I've got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the very thin laces that we've got here, but that is pretty much the only fly in the ointment for the Zoomfly 6. They're a little bit short, I suppose, if you're going to use a runner's knot, but I think for most foot widths and sizes, you're going to be absolutely fine going true to size on this one. I've had no heel slip issues. In fact, the heel area here, this kind of bucket seat, is absolutely fantastic. Just the right amount of padding here. The tongue length as well, absolutely spot on. It's just easy to get a good lockdown in this shoe. Due to the excellent padding that we've got here, which starts off thin and then ends up being quite a bit wider here at the final eyelets, I haven't found I've had any real pressure on top of the foot. It's just perfect in my opinion in terms of the tongue, like it got it spot on. There's minimal overlays on the shoe. They're not these sort of thick attached or glued on ones. They're just simply printed on top, and it doesn't really add any additional weight to the Zoomfly 6. The booty construction of the shoe really does work a treat. You just get your foot in there, cinch the laces, and away you go. I'm not really sure there's an awful lot I change about the upper of this shoe to improve it. It's not too restrictive in the forefoot area here. Even for a tempo sort of more race orientated shoe, I can see many people getting lots and lots of miles and use out of the Zoomfly 6 if they add it into their rotation. Even perhaps it being a multiple pair shoe for some people if it really does work for you. I'm going to give it a 2.9 out of 3 for the upper after 100 miles. Midsole, midsole. Midsole now. Midsole wise, I've only got a little bit of compression at 100 miles back here in the heel. My original reading back in the heel in terms of the stack was 45 millimeters. I got about 44 now, so it has compressed a little bit back there, but not an awful lot. I'm still measuring around about 35 millimeters in the forefoot, so it's around about 8 or 9 mil, which is exactly what Nike suggested it is. I think there's always a pinch of salt to be taken there in the measurements that we get from some of the companies. I believe this shoe is a bit more broken in now. It's certainly softer than it was out the box. The SRO2 foam has really softened. It's a little less dense now and much more sort of enjoyable to run in. It's a dream, in fact. Easier paces for me, around about 8 minutes 30 per mile, feel pretty natural in this shoe, but it's the type of model that really likes you to put the pedal down, sort of marathon pace or half marathon pace. The two foams work flawlessly together in tandem. There's really great protection in the heel from the dual foams here, but a nice rigid, flowing yet smooth transition when you get to the sort of mid to forefoot area. I don't think the plate feels too clunky when you're running at slower speeds. It's more a stabilizing element at that point. It really does though come alive when you get up to that sort of marathon, half marathon pace for me. Ideal for longer runs if you're going to place some speed sections in there, some intervals a little later, or simply for medium distance runs at tempo pace. The shoe facilitates practically anything you want really. There's some cushion there, it's fun, just a nice exciting feel from this midsole. Does feel stable as well. Aside from a little bit of wrinkling on the exposed midsole elements here, there's not an awful lot to talk about durability wise. There's no tearing, there's no degradation. I mean, these have been used across the winter period as well, which is pretty demanding, especially on these newer foams that we've got. Perhaps not the ultimate shoe for like 5 or 10k. There are much lower stack options that are, you know, a little bit more nimble. Not quite so much shoe, you know, but if you're marathon training and you're doing those type of sessions over the next few months, then I see the Zoom Fly 6 ticking loads of boxes for you. The SR02 stabilizes the heel here, kind of cups around your foot, and it just seems to handle the change of pace really, really well. You can go up through the gears very easily. Just brings back fun and excitement in terms of the midsole to the Zoom Fly series, which is brilliant, you know. It was kind of lacking the last few times, but this one, absolute banger for the midsole. I'll give it a 3 out of 3 at 100 miles. It's just been great. Outsole wise, the small pimples that you've got on all of the sort of lugs here in the outsole have started to wear away in a few places, but they're still hanging in there in the forefoot and most of the heel. There's a bit of wrinkling to the exposed foam, but I've got no damage whatsoever, especially in this sort of hollowed out area. It's just provided some tremendous traction and excellent grip over 100 miles. The outsole is easy enough to clean as well if you've got your sort of medium to thick bristle brush, and it's designed in a way that mud doesn't really get a chance to stay anywhere aside from the cutout, but again, it's easy to liberate all that stuff. That does actually create quite a trampoline-like squish, a sort of compression and return, and it amplifies the overall fun and enjoyment you get from the shoe. Another superb choice from the swoosh there, kind of elevates it over some of the other competitors in this field. You know, your carbon plated training options. The outsole easily good as the Puma grip stuff. It's really holding out well. Does seem to be a little bit more up to it this time round. Maybe Nike are learning that people are opting for other models because they're a little bit more durable in terms of the rubber. I'd even consider using this on light trails, and I mean light trails. Traction's really great, offered by the rubber here this time round. So versatile model and hard to not recommend it really, given the demanding winter that we've had. It really has stood up to the test of time very, very well. Bit of a surprise here. One of the best actually in 2024 in fact. I'll give it a 2.9 out of 3. Just be careful of that exposed carbon plate. Value now. At 155 quid, I don't feel hard done by whatsoever. It's been a joy running in this shoe over the last couple of months. I think this could be a great race shoe for many people. Yes, I know it's higher than a 40mm stack. If that really bothers you, then, you know, buy something else. Some people, though, just aren't going to care about that stuff. And that's fine, you know. They won't even realise that this sort of plus 40mm thing is a thing in itself. So Zoom Fly 6, I think it's great value for what it's offered up so far. I don't see it getting worse. In fact, the shoe feels better and better the more I use it. Nice fitting, yet comfortable upper, dynamic midsole, top traction. A winner on pretty much all fronts, really. And the weight's reasonable this time around at 286 grams or 10.1 ounces for my UK 11, US 12. I think the sample size is about 265, so the actual scaling's pretty decent on this shoe. Very little to dislike from a usability and durability point of view this time round. In fact, it's even one of Nike's better put together models out the box. There's no dodgy glue marks or anything like that. Maybe it's made in a different factory, who knows? So really great shoe. Very few models compete with what you're getting here from the Zoom Fly 6. Surefire bet really if you don't want to sort of spam out the cash on a crazy high-end race shoe that's like over 200 quid. I think there's lots to offer here. I'll give this one a 2.9 out of 3 for value after 100 miles. I mean, they could reduce the weight somehow here or there, perhaps some better laces, maybe a slightly better insole, but I'm clutching at straws here. I mean, get rid of that silly premium colorway thing where they're asking an extra tenner, because, you know, the shoes are just all the same. Just buy one of the cheaper ones, alright? If I've totaled the scores up correctly, at 100 miles, that gives us 11.7 out of 12 for the Nike Zoom Fly 6. I know loads of viewers of the channel have picked this one up and they're really, really enjoying it. Gotta be honest, I wouldn't mind getting another pair in a different colourway at some point. It's that good. So that says a lot when a shoe tuber's going to buy multiple pairs of a shoe. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Zoomfly 6 or perhaps its competitors down in the comments. Quick musical interlude for you. If You Want Blood, You've Got It Live by AC/DC is still one of my favourite, well, albums really, rather than just live album. The energy in pretty much all of the 10 tracks on this one doesn't let up, and there's some of the best versions of these tracks as well. They're just brought to life really in this live environment, where sometimes on studio recorded albums you can lack that sort of random chaos and energy that you get on live recordings. Bad Boy Boogie is particularly good on this album. The SG and Gretsch sounds together here just are electric. They really mesh together and you can tell that everybody's just doing their thing all on stage at once. Rock and Roll Damnation and High Voltage are equally as good as well. There's some manic guitar solos here, but they never sound like overindulgent. You know, they're always enjoyable and you just want them to go on longer and longer. Go and check this one out, guys. It's from 1978. If You Want Blood, You've Got It Live from AC/DC. I thank you for tuning in. It's always appreciated. Do hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like too. Drop us a comment to help with the algorithm. My name's Eddbud and I'll be seeing you